Can you do this? Heels touch the ground. And so that when it recovers from the microfracturing, you're gonna have your full height potential. Hey there, I turned 41 in a few months, but I actually gained 1 inch in height. That's precisely why I'm standing right here beside the fridge. Wanna know how I did it? Then watch this video. Truth be told, I was in denial of my height. Just got my age 40 health check results. The height here says 1.74 meters tall, 5'8". I know I'm short. Whenever there were applications where I fill in my height, due to my insecurity, I would actually fill in 1.74 when my height, for most part, 1.71-ish or barely 1.72. Whenever there was a height test, I would try to tilt my head in different ways. And it wasn't because of the perm. They actually used like a measurement laser. The height was measured at 1.74. As a matter of fact, I felt taller too. And I had a good feeling that I would measure at a higher height. Here's how I did it. Because my channel talks about manifestation, I actually manifested this. In the course of this video, I'm going to be discussing how each of these factors help. But in a nutshell, some of the things that I mainly attribute this 1 inch gain in height to is plyometrics, bubble tea, quite a number of days a week, sprinting, and the dead hang. The principles I'm going to be discussing is going to include how to stimulate growth hormone, IGF-1, and the theory and process of microfracturing. First things first, is it possible to grow after puberty? It is not common, but yes, it is possible. So that's the good news for you. When I said that I manifested this, it all began when I was browsing on Instagram. I came across this guy and this guy doing these crazy jumps, right? So I was like, wouldn't it be cool if I figured out how to do that? I actually went for his program, and you see me doing this on my Instagram as well as my YouTube shorts. Little did I know, these exercises plus the awesome bubble tea nearby my place actually contributed to that 1 inch in height gain. For any adults watching this, or let's say some of you could be in your late teens, and if you're in your late teens, there is a lot more hope for you than for people in adulthood like me. Therefore, you want to fully apply these principles. Anyone over the age of 30, the most achievable forms of height gain would be in the form of cartilage, spinal disc, and bone remodeling. So bone remodeling, this is where I talk about microfracturing. The exercises that I did by accident actually contributed to all these things. I actually wrote down once in my manifestation diary, I wanted to gain 1 inch in height. Little did I know that I accidentally found my way into it. When I read deeper into how height gain can be achieved, and I was like, well, I be damned, I didn't know that all these things that I've been doing actually helps. Cartilage growth. Even though most of the growth stops at puberty, cartilage growth, especially around the knees and the spine, these continue. Also, there is a lot of height that can be unlocked with posture. If you have a good posture, plus you uncompress your spine, there's a very good chance you can achieve instant height. But what I want to share with you, if you have a good routine of stretching, basically creating space whenever possible, due to the stress of the exercise, it will always strengthen those areas. And let's just imagine that there is certain spaces in between your discs. When you constantly stress it, but you stretch properly, that just becomes a little bit more over time, and that little gains do add up. Remember I was talking about plyometrics and sprinting? Even though human growth hormone shuts off after puberty for most part, exercises like sprinting and jumping, they can actually kickstart, elevate the production of growth hormone once again. Ever since I got into this lifestyle, in my other video I ever talked about how shingles was like a blessing for me because it forced me to sleep more. And when I slept more, my hormone production actually improved as well. Plus, another thing that I did was intermittent fasting. Did you know that when you let your intestines fast for a long period of time, a lot of hormone production can properly begin by not overstressing your digestive system, plus doing sprinting, plyometrics, all these high impact activities, you can actually stimulate a better hormone production. Science says if you have deep sleep, you will peak your hormone growth levels. Especially when I started sleeping more, I suddenly found, my muscle tone drastically improved without any other changes in my diet or my fitness training. When I began to sleep more, during the period of 3 months where I had shingles. I would feel sleepy at 10:30 and then I would sleep through the night, and I actually became a morning person because I started waking early at like 6:30 or 7 and starting my day. That earlier sleep plus the longer unbroken deep sleep really helped in my hormone production. I feel myself looking younger, and many people, they've been mistaking me for like 30 or 31 when I'm actually 40, and I'll be turning 41 in a few months. The other thing is proper nutrition. You want to have a high protein diet, and some of you might be thinking, oh no, protein powder is expensive. But then again, eggs is a really cheap protein in many parts of the world. There was a period of time that I was financially unstable. During that time, I found out that I could just eat lots of eggs. I don't take out the yolk, so just don't waste that goodness. Eat the whole egg. Fun fact, there are some ramen places out there, they have like a free flow of eggs. Just over the weekend, I was at this ramen place and guess what? 9 eggs. Now let's talk about microfracturing. In fact, if you watch Japanese anime, this is not a new concept at all because they talk about it in Prince of Tennis, Run with the Wind, and basketball series talked about it as well. Microfracturing is basically when you put your body through a lot of stress. In Japan, like I said, they like to train their athletes in such a way that for runners, they'll give them a lot of distance, 250 kilometers of running in a week. Then they'll let them take a few days off so that the body can heal from that. As a result of that healing, the muscle fibers become stronger, the bones become more dense. And there is scientific proof Olympic weightlifters actually increase their bone density by a lot over a period of time through weight-bearing exercise. In plyometrics, let's say if I do all these stuff, there's a lot of stress on the bone, the muscles. These microfractures, when they heal, they get stronger. When they heal, the bones get more dense. Can you do this? Heels touch the ground. As you microfracture your muscles and your bones, it's very important that you have good flexibility so that when you recover, you actually achieve your full potential. This, by the way, is one of the less popular but very important stretches that you should do, especially if you're embarking on a plyometrics regime. Many people forget to stretch the shin. The other aspect is the thigh bone. You want to make sure that you're doing this, and you want to be able to touch your butt cheeks. If you can do that, muscles properly stretch, and so that when it recovers from the microfracturing, you're gonna have your full height potential. There was this bubble tea chain that also serves like the cheapest and the best tasting ice cream that opened up in my neighborhood. Side note, Aicha is way better than Mixue. If you don't believe me, try it out for yourself. It's worlds apart. So my daughter has been asking me to take her to buy bubble tea. That's typically after we play our ping pong. Little did I know that the bubble tea that I've been taking so often has been stimulating my IGF-1 production. Here's the science. After intense exercise, consuming a sweet drink can cause an insulin spike. This insulin increases the IGF-1 production. This enhances the body's ability to repair muscle and bone. Remember, this is not an excuse for you to go out and drink bubble tea like crazy from now. As a matter of fact, I always have it less sweet, like 25%, and I only let myself take it after some intense exercise. The next thing I'm going to talk about is like plyometrics and sprinting. I started out with like twice a week, and I increased it 3 times a week, 4 times a week, and then, oh my god, now I'm doing like 5-6 times a week. And you know what? I shifted from doing these in the evenings to doing them in the morning, so that in the afternoon I can have another round of exercise. I can have my table tennis training, which is also quite intense. The point of me saying that is not like, oh, you gotta go 10 times of training per week. I started out with 2 plyometrics and 1 stretching day per week, and then increased it to 3 plyometric days and 1 day of stretching. But of course, I do stretching before and after every workout, but one of the sessions is dedicated to stretching. What I mean to say is that you can start small and work your way up. In terms of plyometrics, when I started out doing my vertical jump, you should see how fat I was. I could only do 70-inch vertical, but right now I can vertical jump 30 inches. Might be even 31 by now. And if you look at this video, I can pogo jump like the Maasai. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. Also follow me on Instagram because I post a lot of these short reels where I do all these plyometric exercises. Plyometrics and pogo jumps, all this stuff is really good because Not only does it cause the microfracturing and increase your bone density, it also stimulates your growth hormone production. It forms a good base for you to produce IGF-1 as well. So it's the perfect storm. The reason why sprinting is really good is because if you sprint, it's super intense on your core, and I've got a six-pack to show at any time. You need a very strong core to sprint. As your core strength improves, you're gonna find that you'll sprint faster because less stuff is shaking and jiggling around. Back in high school, I used to be on the cross-country team. I even ran up to half marathon distances. That was really bad for my growth plates because it's constant like landing. My spine was super tight at that time. Remember I said I'm 174 now? Right after high school, I was like 169, and then when I went for some yoga, it's like 10 weeks of yoga, my height went up 171-ish. Now I'm going to talk about decompressing of the spine. You see me hanging from the staircase in some of my videos. When I'm at my kids' school, there's a pull-up bar, so I'll hang there. There's nothing extreme to work on, but just go onto the bar and hang on to it for like a minute. Work your way up to as long as you can. Another fun fact, how did I even get into this vertical hang thing, right? A friend of mine, he was being sponsored by a fitness company on his TikTok page, and he ran a 100 seconds challenge. So they brought a mobile pull-up bar wherever they went for the road shows. If anyone could hang for 100 seconds or more, they would then get $100. They did this for weeks and in multiple locations before anyone could even hang for more than 100 seconds. When I saw that challenge, I was like, I better try that. I thought I was very fit. I forgot that table tennis and tennis, we actually play with a loose wrist and a loose, relaxed grip. So my grip strength kind of sucked. I started out with 50 seconds, and right now only I can do about 170 seconds with no breaks. You may have seen videos like this on Instagram where someone hangs and their spine just elongates during that time. That's how wonderful it is. Most people work at a desk job. If you're Asian, you might have these chairs that have the worst ergonomics. When you sit in them for a long time, you feel that your back's being rounded. Finally, let's talk about nutrition. I already covered that it's important to get a lot of protein. I get a lot of protein easily by taking a lot of eggs. I don't take protein powders at all. That's something that you can definitely do too, right? Eggs. Another element is vitamin D. Vitamin D has a lot of health benefits. I can leave you to read more about vitamin D and what it does. Vitamin D is simple. When I go out to do my training in the sun, free vitamin D. Again, I manifested this in the evenings where I live. There's a lot of mosquitoes. That's one of the big reasons why I shifted my workouts from the evening time to the morning time as well. Just my short little plug of a manifestation here. You just gotta have an end in mind. The universe will guide you to the best possible solutions without you putting serious thought into it. Like I was saying, I discovered plyometrics by accident, passive scrolling Instagram back then, and then my workouts changed from evening to morning due to mosquitoes, and so that I could have more time for other sport in the evening with my kids. And then there was also income instability, where I realized that I could get very high quality, efficient protein for the body just by eating more eggs. And a few months ago, I contracted shingles, which is like a chicken pox recurrence in adulthood. That forced me to sleep early, and I then realized how having a good night's sleep plus meditation music. So meditation and meditation music to learn how to deep sleep. So deep sleep plus long sleep plus high quality sleep, I produce more human growth hormone, my body repaired itself more. The result of that is I anti-aged and my muscle tone suddenly increased more, like someone on hormone therapy, but as a matter of fact, totally natural. If some of you need some numerical guidelines, there are AI applications out there where you can take a picture of your food and then it can advise you whether your intake is adequate for your protein needs. Experts will say that you should be taking 0.8 to 1 kilogram of body weight of protein on a daily basis, but at the same time, many people who want to increase your muscle tone should probably go for a 1-to-1. As a quick recap, what should you do? Well, if you think that my approach sounds great, then start doing some plyometrics and sprinting. What are good plyometrics exercises? You can watch my YouTube reels or Instagram shorts. I do a lot of these stuff. Box jumps, vertical jumps, Pogo jumps, all of these are very good, and as you get better, you can also carry weights and do them at the same time. For sprinting, what I tend to do is like I'll mark out like maybe 80 meters or 100 meters and then I will sprint it. I started working my way up from like 3 times in a session, but nowadays I do like 7 or 8, so it's like intervals, right? I also find it fun to do shuttle runs as well because, you know, when you go around the turn, that's really heavy on your calves. Very good microfracturing as well. Make it a habit every day to do the dead hang. Even if you don't do pull-ups, it's fine. You'll actually be surprised. If you have a goal of increasing your pull-ups, just by doing the dead hang, you will increase the grip strength required and also strengthen some of the muscles around these areas that will help you to do pull-ups much better. I can still do quite a lot of pull-ups this very day, but I don't even train for it. Finally, to spike that IGF-1, which is the insulin growth factor 1, after an intense workout, enjoy bubble tea. I want to let all viewers know that your body can grow and improve at any age, and it's all about making a decision. All these things will really improve and you will see the results. I'm really looking forward to hearing your success stories, so save this video and you can come back and tell me how it went. Do check out my plyo exercise playlist as well for more ideas of how you can improve. Some of you may have some concerns, what about the knees and the knee pains and all that stuff. Fun fact, when I was much younger, there's actually like some kind of a bony access on my right side. So the interesting thing is that if you do all these stretches and stuff, your body has a way of growing and adapting, and I've never had an issue with knee pain ever since I began plyometrics. If anything at all, my knees feel the strongest it's ever been in my whole life. So that's all I have to share with you in this video. If you'd like to watch another one, click this video on your screen. Bye.